This meeting to order of the school committee. This Monday evening, February 27th, 6 p.m. meeting. Moving on the agenda, executive session not at this time. Call to order and a salute to the flag. Mr. Hughes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
School committee members and student reports. School committee chair report. I have nothing to report at this time. Resource,
nothing at this time. We'll be meeting tomorrow night.
all right. School building needs.
Nothing at this time, meeting tomorrow night.
Policy committee, Mr. Horgan is not with us. Student support committee, and we have, okay, we don't have that individual. School personnel committee, that's me. Nothing at this time. Executive committee, nothing as well. Student representatives, you're on.
Good afternoon, fellow school committee members. It is so great to be in the presence of you all again today. Tonight, we have some very important and exciting events that we'd like to go over and discuss with you today. This includes recognition to the students from Memorial Middle School who have received the Scholar Award from DSE, Stephen Bate on his accomplishments in track and field, and the Fitchburg High Black Student Union for their magnificent celebration in light of Black History Month. Along with this, we would also like to give thanks to Gear Up for bringing in a great motivational speaker and give some updates on current events taking place within Longview Middle School.
Firstly, we would like to acknowledge the students from Memorial Middle School who demonstrated expectational academic achievements and were awarded by the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. With this, we'd also like to shout out Stephen Bates for placing 3rd overall in long jump at the Meet of Champions this weekend. Congratulations to you all.
Next, on Friday, February 17th, the day before sending out students for February vacation, Fitchburg High School's Black Student Union, run by Mr. Demosthenes, also known as Mr. D, put on a performance to highlight Black history and Black excellence overall. The showcase consisted of a fashion show, including traditional wear, formal wear, and streetwear, an interpretive dance, and a lip-sync concert. The performance was extremely hyped throughout the entire auditorium and radiated so much energy, forcing everyone in the crowd to get up and dance along to the songs. The performance did so well, we even earned a spot in the local news, which is all the club could have asked for and more. So as a participant and leader of the club, thank you.
In addition, Longview Middle School had their Valentine's Day dance before break, in which 290 kids attended. Longview will also be handing out 82 certificates to students who had perfect attendance for their first trimester this week. We would like to also thank Gear Up for providing us students with a great motivational speaker, D1, a rapper from New Orleans. He came here to talk about his struggles and how he didn't allow those setbacks to deter his path and cause him to lose focus on what was really important. He performed his songs for us as well as was overall a great speaker to have and motivate and inspire as kids.
Lastly, we would like to give a quick and final shout out to the boys basketball team and the entire community for working as hard as they have to get to where they are. Although we've had some minor setbacks, there's no better team than the Red Raiders. Let's kick off the playoffs with a bang. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Yes.
I just have one comment. The boys' basketball game is at 6:30 tonight.
Yes.
Double checking.
Which means you got to get over there, don't you?
Moving on the agenda, approval of the regular meeting, the Fitchburg School Committee from February 6, 2023.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you, girls. Thank you. Thank you.
Communications.
I have one from Mrs. Cragen.
Okay. I thought she was coming in virtually on that, no?
See her. No, on public comment she is, but not for these communications.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
The Stratton Players, open to all, free, meet Monday, the last Monday of the month from 7 to 8:30 p.m. at the Main Street Studios, 675 Main Street. It's collaborative, work on a joke, a 5-minute set, a humorous public speaking for teens through adults. Meetup Monday, February 27th to March 27th, April 24th, 7 to 8:30. Zoom invites available. RSVP. Email sallycragen@gmail.com. Also, help the members of our city keep their dogs safe. Be Positive, Friends of Fitchburg Dog, Fitchburg Animal Control, Fitchburg City Clerk, and Fitchburg Police Department present Dog License Poster Contest. The purpose of this contest is to educate students and their families about the importance of licensing their dogs for the safety of the community. If your dog gets lost, the dog license helps the dog get back home. Applicants must be students at Fitchburg Public Schools, grades 1 through 6. Love your dog, love your license. Draw your version of what love your dog's license, love your dog, license your dog means. Please not include those words. We will make sure that slogan is included on winning posters. Posters must be created by the student and be original work. No tracing, collages, digitally produced images. Colors may be used. Markers are preferable, as winning posters will be copied and distributed in the community. All entries must fit on an 8.5 by 11-inch paper and orientated vertically. Student's name, school, and parent's name, address, email, and phone must appear on the back of the poster in pencil. Prizes include a trophy and a goodie bag. Contest timeline. Bring your poster to the principal's office by Friday, March 10th, 2023 at Rheingold School, Crocker, McKay, Lonjo, and Memorial. No late entries allowed. Winning posters will be announced later in March. Thank you from Be Positive.
Any comments? Seeing none. Any further communications from any members of the committee? Seeing none. Public comment. Anyone wishing to make a public comment?
Someone virtually.
Hi, Jessica Jacobson, Fitchburg resident. I'm here to give some of you a notice of intent to file a claim against your public official insurance. Below is a list of laws, including but not limited to laws that you
I'm
have
sorry. File of intent for what? I'm sorry, I missed
against your public official insurance.
Public official insurance.
Yep.
Okay.
A few of you that have taken an oath of office are insured under the public office insurance. I don't know where I was. There are some discriminatory practices that are in the public schools that have been ignored. I've sent a few emails. I haven't had a response. I've been trying to get a policy committee meeting on them, and I haven't really had a great response on that.
Thanks. You too.
Let's see. We're demanding you adhere to your own policies, including but not limited to the ones listed here. Are a few quotes from your own policies that are being failed to uphold. Promotion of a cause within a classroom are inappropriate and unscholarly. The Fitchburg School is committed to maintaining a work and educational environment free from all discrimination and harassing conduct. The right to study under the competent instruction of an atmosphere free from bias and prejudice. One of the many victims that came in actually tried to speak at one of the counselor meetings and got pointed at and yelled at. So I don't think the victims are willing to come out anymore. And that's really unfortunate. So I'm just going to hand you guys these.
Thank you.
I have two for Rosemary and Maria Knight.
We'll add them to their packets. We'll add them to their packets.
Okay. Dr. Knight even was aware of this too, and her reasoning for not responding to the email was that she was too busy with her own school. So that was disheartening. And she was more upset that I didn't ask that child's pronouns than his story about getting beat up in school. So that's very disheartening that the pronouns and that information seems to be more concerning than the fact that this kid's actually getting beat up. in school. So, all right. Yes.
Hi, my name is Jean Robbie. I live in Fitchburg, and I'm here to kind of piggyback on what Jess has been talking about. We have too many issues going on in the schools. We have children who don't need to be learning about all the different flags and what they all represent. They don't need to be learning about the color of their skin and how they're different. They need to be educated because they're going to be our future. And I don't know how many of you want to go into nursing homes, but I sure don't. These kids are learning from grown-ups. They're learning the ideologies of grown-ups that they don't need to be learning. They're learning that they're different because of the color of their skin. They're learning that they're different because of their sexual preference. They're learning that they're different because, well, this one has this going on, this one has this going on. It needs to stop. We need to stop it at the school level. The administration that's administering our kids, the teachers, they hear something out here and they're in there and they're pushing it on these kids. These kids had no idea. My granddaughter, 4 years in fourth grade, she's had a friend since preschool. And this friend of hers, it's quite obvious that this little girl is not a little girl when she grows up. But let her grow up to be who she's going to be. That's what we need these kids to be. They need to grow up to be who they're supposed to be, not who these teachers are pushing on, these counselors are pushing. Oh, well, and please, this all has to stop. All the flags, all the politics, it needs to stop in the schools. We just need education. Can we do that to our kids? Please?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone further wishing to make public comment?
Sally's on.
Virtual? Yes. Well, Sally was going to speak on I think, the
Yep,
field trip.
I'm here.
Sally, were you going to
Can you
speak on the field trip?
Yeah, I'm
approval?
going to. Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, good. I'm only across the street at the stand-up comedy workshop,
Okay.
but I'm going to use the Zoom because I can't project quite that far.
Okay.
So, yeah, I wanted to speak about the field trips that are coming up. So I'm really excited. I was always excited to see field trips, and I know that Mrs. Fisher is there to support the field trip permissions. But we've got Rheingold Elementary School attending Fitchburg Public Library. We had them attending in February. And then we also have the Longio Middle School 6th graders doing an overnight to Gorham, New Hampshire through AMC. And I just want to say thank you so much to the teachers who are organizing these trips, to the administrators who are doing the heavy lifting with the administration and bureaucracy that goes with these things. I know from talking to many, many parents that children who go on field trips and children who, learn outside of the classroom as well as in classroom have a much more enriched sense of the world around them. And I just was delighted, especially to see the New Hampshire field trip. We are a city with woods in every direction. I was at Crocker School today with Be Positive Therapy Pets for their very wonderful after-school program. And we talked to dozens of kids. And the kids who are there getting enrichment through the after-school, when I asked them, do some of you hear coyotes at night? A bunch of them raised their hands. And I think that we're acknowledging, that we've got a really diverse school group of children, and everyone's coming from a different place. But the fact that our leaders, our educational leaders, take the time to make sure our kids go on field trips, get to be with their classmates in a more, informal environment, and especially the library, which is, Crocker Field is a jewel, but the library is a jewel too. And these are children who, because they're going to the library as children, will, like myself and my own children, grow up going to the library. So I'm taking off my hat virtually to say thank you so much for putting together field trips, and I really hope that the families watching will applaud you as well, because their kids will come back with stories of wonderful, positive experiences and very much enriched. So thanks, you guys, and we'll talk to you at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sally.
Questions?
Just a
Yes.
comment.
Yeah, Peter.
I know I'm getting old, but when I was in the 4th grade at Laurel Street Elementary School, every 4th grader in the city walked to the public library, and we were shown the library, and we were all got our first library card when we were all in the 4th grade. And I don't know why we still don't do that today. Pick a grade, whatever it might be, and take them to the library and have them get their library card. Thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions? No. All right, moving on. Superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight we have an update on the Crocker Elementary School MSBA project. We have John Bates of Colliers International, our owner's project manager, with us remotely. And John will give an update in terms of the general contractor bid opening that happened during Valentine's Day, and he can share out some of the, I guess, the love from that meeting or the bid results. So it's all yours, John. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
And can you see my screen, which I'm attempting to present? Okay, great. So thank you, Superintendent. So on February 14th, we had our general contractor bid opening for the Crocker Elementary School project. And we had 4 general bidders participate in that bid opening. And the lowest bid that you see highlighted there in our bid tabulation sheet was from Fontaine Brothers, general contractors out of Springfield, Massachusetts, with the lowest bid of $57.469 million. You will see that as compared to our construction budget, which is given here, $61.391 million, Fontaine was close to $4 million under our construction budget. So what that means is, for one, we have a project that we can proceed with. It also means that we can carry within this project the 2 add alternates that we had held aside in the event that the bids did come in favorably and we would have enough budget to take those alternates. The first one being the air conditioning system in the administration wing. And the second add alternate is an enhanced exhaust system throughout the building. It's going to benefit the building from a cost savings life cycle standpoint. So we're taking both bid alternates in addition to the base bid. And in doing that, we still have a surplus in budget of about $3.5 million. So in addition to being the lowest bidder, Mass General Law also requires that Fontaine be what's considered the responsible bidder. And by definition, that means that they must demonstrate the skill, the ability, and the integrity necessary to faithfully perform the work under this contract. And according to Collier's review of Fontaine Brothers' qualifications, in addition to our own extensive experience with this contractor, we do in fact find them to be very well qualified as the general contractor for this project, with a particular expertise that they're bringing in the K-12 construction market. And I'm going to share quickly a few examples of some very recent projects that they've been underway with. DeBerry Swan Elementary School in Springfield, Mass. That's a 155,000 square foot new construction building. Similar to our project, it's done in proximity to a fully occupied elementary school. So that will be the case with our project as well. So they definitely have experience with that. Doherty Memorial High School, another project that's a very large project. You see the budget amount here of $240 million. Also done in a fully occupied high school. Northridge Elementary School, large elementary school project in Northridge, again done in proximity to a residential neighborhood, so they do have a lot of experience in doing complex construction projects in residential neighborhoods and alongside existing schools while maintaining that school function. Worcester South Community High School, another large high school, 360,000 square feet, and then Northfield Mount Hermon. All similar projects, again, K-12. We do find them to be very good to work with. Again, we've worked with them in the past with great success, and we're looking forward to doing it again. Just like to share the next steps quickly. So on March 23rd, we hope to be under contract with Fontaine, and we hope to issue a notice to proceed. And the following week, we'd like to have a kickoff meeting with them, with the OPM, with the architects, and with the district. And then we'd start to see some limited activity through the remainder of the school year on site. That would include the installation of some site fencing, perhaps the delivery of construction trailers. It would be a limited impact in terms of how it affects the school day for the principal and his faculty for the remainder of the school year, with the real construction process kicking off in full in the summer of this year. And then it's a 2-year construction duration that would end substantially in April 2025. And I just wanted to leave the committee. These are some of the most recent renderings that were sent to us by the architects. They couldn't join us this evening, but I just wanted to share these quickly with you. This is a view of the main entrance of the school. This is the east courtyard. Outdoor learning space on the west side opens up into a concrete patio for outdoor learning opportunities. This would be a rendering of the media center, a common area for different types of education, a typical classroom rendering, another typical classroom space. And there's a nice aerial shot that includes the overall building as well as the parking and the bus drop-off. Another nice aerial shot.
That's pretty good.
And that concludes the presentation. Any questions from the committee?
Is that the first time we've seen these renderings? These are brand new, huh?
Yeah, these are different
These
ones.
are brand new.
These are terrific. Thank you.
These are, fresh off the printer as of this morning.
Would it be possible to get a copy of his slides?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I can, yeah, we can. John, we can email me a copy for distribution to the school committee.
Will do.
Great.
Looks great.
Nicely done. Thank you. Questions? Okay.
No questions. I mean, everything seems as expected from the last report. This update seems expected, so that's always good.
I wasn't expected. We're saving some, let's knock on wood here.
Yeah.
And just keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was in the
This
round.
this came in, I think,
3.6 million.
right.
I mean, what was,
The latest estimate.
Yeah.
what was not expected, I think, was, like the mayor said, when we went into the bid meeting, the bid opening, we were bracing for, higher.
More,
deposit.
sure,
And then the subsequent conversations of what would be our next steps. But we're really excited, and really excited to be, working with Fontaine, who has an excellent reputation from everything we've been told from our OPM at Colliers. And yeah, it's good news. As Bob said, it's kind of a Valentine's Day gift, I guess.
that's right.
This would be like a 25, 26 school year opening?
Yes, that's the target.
Big target, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be nice. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, next up, we have Mrs. Fisher here to talk about the field trips, or particularly one field trip to the Appalachian Mountain Club. So,
Hello, everyone. Thank you. I'll be quick. We're planning the Appalachian Mountain Trail hike with our sixth graders. This will be our first time back since post-COVID, so really excited. We ran into a few snags trying to book for Memorial, so we're going to be able to take Longjo because the huts are full for the time. So I'll be coming back to you probably in a couple months to ask permission to start planning for next year so I can start getting those reservations in. But the kids will be exploring all the different trails. They'll be doing some geology. They'll be looking at ecosystems. It's kind of like nature's classroom out of the White Mountains. It's really a fantastic trip, and I think we're looking at probably 50 to 65 kids right now. And the school committee was gracious enough to cover the costs of the buses, which brought the trip down, so it's really affordable for our families. And they've been doing fundraising, so it's going really well. Any questions?
How many years has this trip been held? not counting the 2 years when you couldn't do anything.
So it started back in the 90s. Mr. Shalfo started it, 91, 92.
Which?
The AMC trip, hiking up to the White Mountains. And then we couldn't really find staff that wanted to do it. So then Becky Colo, she's the math coach over at Longshore. She's an outdoors person all the way. And we talked her into doing it her first year. So she's been really great about doing it. And she gets a great response from the families and kids. So it's a great trip. So 20, 25 years now, maybe 20 years, I would say.
I just think it's a great learning experience for kids to get out of the classroom, to be on something like this, to see firsthand some of the things that you better understand than you would just reading it out of a book or in a classroom. And I just think it's a great opportunity for our students, those sixth graders, to be able to participate. So I thank you and everybody involved in making this happen. So thank you, Jim. Appreciate
We'll
it.
get the Memorial kids next year. I promise. It's my goal.
Is there any obstacles that you ran into that you see getting bigger as time goes on, just organizing field trips?
It's the finances for the families.
Yeah.
I wish I could just, maybe when I retire, just write grants to get funding to pay for the trips. If we could pay for all the kids to go, we'd have a lot more participation, but that's that one.
There's grants out there for it.
That's what I don't know. I need to investigate that, but with my job, it's hard to.
And I'm sure there's conversations about that with you and, all the different collaborators that are part of this. Is there any other conversations besides grants for securing that funding?
It's a matter of someone taking the lead and being able to do the fundraising part. That's a full-time job.
Right. No, it is,
and
actually.
It's a huge part, and if just trying to find someone to do that. One year we did a fundraiser. I did Mayor Di Natale came in and did Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And we raised about $7,000.
Was he?
Yes, actually.
No, I'm kidding.
He won.
He won, all right, he won.
It took months and months and months of a committee to do that, and that was just one event.
Yeah.
And then we did another one at the Armory to raise money for the DC trip, and that raised about $5,000. But you have to have like a committee of people that want to do that work, and it's, the parents that want their kids to go, it's great, but I need someone that wants to do it or kind of run it. It's a big commitment to try to plan all those events and get things going. I would love to do a golf tournament someday, to raise money for the trips, but that's the kind of stuff that, maybe when I retire, I can start doing that stuff. But
Well, why wait, right? So, first of all, I think that's great, but I think another option would be to explore this more with Dr. Knight and the Student Resource Subcommittee. Perhaps there can be it's just something to explore and maybe talk about. We can give her a nudge to bring that up. Because I know that there's other school districts that, with very vibrant PTAs that secure funding that way, maybe forming a subcommittee to get that organized could be an idea. But this is all great. Another thing that came up that was more of a question for Bob in central office was the one teacher will be med certified to dispense medications. Remember in the last subcommittee meeting we talked about, the nurse, the last resource committee, the pay for nurses that are going to these.
stipend.
Was this one of the alternatives that we?
No, this says,
It's separate.
What, we have the option of having a teacher, when they go on the field trip,
Right.
complete a med certification.
Right.
And that's something that the staff member goes down to the nurse's office. The nurse goes over the protocols with them, lets them know what students that they'll be responsible for have medications.
Right.
They go over that with them, how to administer it, and then they're trained and they sign off, and then they go on the field trip and they're responsible for that. We are actually talking about that, I think, tomorrow night at the resource meeting about nursing
Right.
and going on field trips.
Because this is out of state. Does this have the same requirement as like the DC trip? To have a nurse there?
The problem with the nursing is certification. So if a nurse is certified in Mass, they might not have reciprocation in other states.
Okay.
So that's another thing that Pam Rivers and I have been discussing for years. And I was med certified when I was, in Washington with the kids when, we go down. God, it's changed so much in the last 30 years. But, one of the good things about being in D.C. is that we're right near hospitals if anything happens. So, like, 3 years ago, we had two students with asthma attacks, so we went right to the hospital.
Right.
Called parents, and we got to the hospital really quickly. So the giving out medications and all that other stuff, it's doable by the teachers.
Yeah.
Just depends on their comfort level. But trying to find nurses too has been a challenge.
Right, I heard. Yeah. Okay.
And typically, usually the meds that teachers have to give out are, those daily meds.
Right.
A pill at a certain time, in addition to an inhaler or an EpiPen. Those are kind of the three major meds that teachers are responsible for.
And most of the staff at the AMC that are the guides, they're all trained in wild wilderness, medical. I guess it's a pretty in-depth course that they have to go through. So,
awesome.
We knock on wood, we've had pretty good luck.
Great.
One more question. If people wanted to make a donation, how would one be able to do that?
So they could, we have an account for the city of Fitchburg, so they could write a donation to the city of Fitchburg. They could mail it to me at central office, and they could say if they wanted to go to the DC trip or the AMC trip.
Okay. All right.
So that's been a nice thing to have for us.
So just make it out to the city of Fitchburg and indicate where you want those funds to go. Okay.
Yeah, and they can email me
Okay.
or just send it right to central office, and I'll get it. They just put Jen Fisher on it, and they'll get it, and I'll get it.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it.
And what about if you wanted to adopt a kid to go, you know what I mean, is that?
You want to adopt, like for the trip?
Sponsor.
No.
Not an expert on that.
You want to adopt them, Tommy?
Oh, they used to call them adopt a kid when
You don't have enough kids?
Yeah, sponsor,
Great idea,
whatever,
sponsor.
yeah, same thing.
Not take them home, just.
That's what I was like.
After the trip.
We do have several students, and the teachers sponsor children quite a bit. So if there's anyone out there that wants to sponsor a child for the trip, they can contact me and I can get them the information via email. Is the best way to get a hold of me. But we've had people we had a former student who went to law school, and he sponsored 2 students for the 8th grade trip because he just thought he had such a great time and it inspired him to become a lawyer. So he was able to pay for 2 kids. Different agencies, DCF covers kids that are in foster care. Any students that are homeless, their trips are covered. So, the more at-risk and needy families, we try to help out. But the teachers usually know right away, like, okay, yeah, I want that kid to go, so this is really important. So they do pony up some of their own money to sponsor a child.
And then also to add to that, our schools with our active PTOs, they also fund field trips. Some of them pay for costs for admission in addition to the cost of buses. So that usually is the parent-teacher organization that supports that.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Yep.
Be safe, everyone.
Thank you, you too.
The other field trip, as we had at the last previous meeting, was for approval to go to the Fitchburg Public Library. Tonight's approval form is for Rheingold second grade to go. And just a correction on the agenda for action item 23-235, it should be March 10, 2023, instead of February 10, 2023. So February 10 has already passed us. March 10 is coming up. I guess, Mr. Roach, can you just give a quick update on the grants for submittal and acceptance?
There's several action items related to grants. They're 23-237 and 23-238. So grants to submit, there are 2. The United Way grant in the total of $5,000, submission deadline of March 10th. And that is to fund, supplement summer programming, student participation in a Hanover Theater STEAM project. And then the Safer Schools and Communities Initiative, the actual increase to that to $150,000. You can see a note that we did discuss $50,000 at the February 6th school committee meeting, but it made sense to try to pursue it at 3 schools instead of just 1, because what it does, and this is done in conjunction with Fitchburg Police Department, it provides local equipment and technology to enhance school door locks and locking devices. So it actually is to request a submission of $150,000. And then one grant to accept, the high-quality instructional materials implementation grant in the amount of $108,000, and that grant supports districts in implementing recently purchased Tier 1 core quality instructional materials in math, ELA, science, and digital literacy.
And that's it for the grant items tonight for submittal and acceptance. So, Mr. Chair, ready for the action items?
Yes,
Make a motion to bundle action items 23-235 through 23-238.
motion made and seconded to bundle 23-236 up through and including 23-238. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion to accept 23-235 through 23-238.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded to approve 23-235 up through and including 23-238. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It is unanimous. No need for executive session at this time.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion made,
Seconded.
seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.